All right, my people, let's jump right in. Today we're doing a high-level overview of a booking series that will be popping off on Monday as we reveal, explain, illuminate, and simplify the true hidden esoteric meaning behind the Epstein files. And just looking at it from a high-level view to basically see the agenda, the protocol, see what the dominant culture has in store for us. If you look at some of the images that I've shared with everybody, especially the image that I just sent, everything from, I forgot which, I think it was Bill Gregory who talked about the two Trumps and, we got the weather modification, and everybody knows about HARP technology and Project CERN. Most people are aware of the series that I did on entitled Little Baron Trump, the book that was written back in the 1700s that talks about a fictitious character and family named Trump, who have a son, the street that Trump's, place is on right now, and everything that's happening right now in 2020, back then it was like 2022, Trump's first presidency, it's all inside of these books. When I first heard about it and read about it many, many years ago, I just, like the average person, that I just blew it off. I went back and read the author. His name is Ingersoll Lockwood. And Lockwoods were a very famous, like Locklear and all of these movies like Game of Thrones that gets into like the Nordic culture, the playground of the Anglo-Saxon, got into Project Gutenberg and Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey, which is another book written. And all of these books trace and talk about this fantastic journey of this wealthy boy named Baron Trump. Now, if you notice, Baron Trump is Trump's youngest. He hasn't even started. Yet his life and everything that he's going to do in his life has already been foretold back in the 1700s. Some people say Trump is a time traveler. At the base, at the core, what we're going to be discussing is the devil's playground, as it's told and has it been given to us inside of the series called Westworld. Now, it's going back a little bit, and I don't know for some people, there's so much that's happening and it's coming at us so fast that a lot of people may have difficulty keeping up, and I understand. Basically, Westworld is about these rich guys who created an entire different world where they can go down into that world and kill real people, but kind of find out those real people look just like you and I, but they are biological androids, biological robots. Now, they run on a computer code, and they program them, and then they just when they die, they just reprogram them, patch them up, and they put them back out there just for the pleasure, just for the fun of these 1%ers, of these, billionaires. I don't know if you, first time I saw Westworld, the series is like all the series, it starts off, pretty good, and then it kind of goes to the left a little bit. And I get it and I understand it. It is hard to, but they're telling you, they put all of that inside of that series. Now we can talk, you guys I talk about a lot, because I know they put a lot of stuff in the movies. So like the Matrix movies, and all of these movies have bits and pieces of what's really, really going on inside of this frequency. When we talk about the really, really high level overview, as we get into, I think it was Kanye West who said back in the day that we are all unpaid actors. And I thought about what Kanye West said when he broke it down and explained actors and acting now, because I remember, that's one of the things I looked into as a young whippersnapper, thinking about acting. And it's interesting because as an actor, let's look at a child. You go to a grocery store and you see a child acting out. As a parent, as someone seeing a young parent that doesn't have control of their child, I would say, my grandmother used to say, man, you need to teach that child how to act. Now, let's do, like, when I was raised, and most people say, we even the Bible says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. So, we are all trained. Now, if you're not able to step outside of yourself like I do every day, it is difficult to see what's really going on in the world. And I understand that this series may not appeal to a lot of people because a lot of people operate from a place of they don't want to know, or, I get it. But when we talk about that everybody's controlled by thoughts that have been implanted in your head by your caretakers and then later on by yourself, just like in the movie Westworld. But in Westworld, I love the way they put words, they put it down inside of a programmer, and then it's this big computer that was running all of the characters. But all of the characters, except for a few people, they were real people. So it goes back to the movie Free Guy. And in the movie Free Guy, same thing. In that movie, the guy was an algorithm. He was a program. He was a computer program that was made by people out in the real world. And it's crazy because I remember the only way that the non-player character, the NPC, in the movie Free Guy, this cheerful, remember they call him the blue shirt guy. He was this cheerful bank teller, remember? And he discovered that he actually was a non-player character. He was an NPC. And he was inside this massive video game called Freak City. You guys remember? So when Free Guy, and the guy, his name was Guy, he becomes self-aware. Now, I wish to God I could. We're talking about the Epstein files. So, I wish it wasn't true. Like I said, today we're just talking. I got proof, I got facts, I got receipts. I can biologically prove it to yourself. You do it every day. You cannot not do your program. You're programmed. You cannot operate outside of your script. There's people that's been trying to change themselves and do stuff. I'm 60 plus. And I've been working on myself 60 plus. Ain't shit changed. It ain't gonna change. But I understand why, because it's the program. Because I know, as I told you guys before, the thoughts that come into my head, that's what I love about numerology. Because numerology helped me understand the program. But now I don't fight the program anymore, because I know it's the whole point of understanding the program is like a fish. Now, you can call it design. It's a program because there's a designer who designed the program. So this goes along also with the biblical narrative. It's just unfortunate because the average Alakibelon, most people can't understand that the Bible is basic instructions before leaving Earth. While you are on Earth, there is a specific frequency, wave, verbal vibration, or code that you live by. You oscillate by that specific code. Whether you want to operate by that code or not, you don't have free will. You could say limited free will. We got the same amount of free will that my dog does. My dog has free will. He's a house dog, so he walks around the house. He's free to go anywhere in the house. He goes outside, the backyard, he's free to go anywhere in the backyard. But as a fence, so is he really free? No, he is not. He has limited freedom. His freedom is limited by that big-ass fence in the backyard. Now, if he goes up the front door, there's no fence. He could run, but there's a dog catcher. And the dog catcher will catch him because that happened before. He got out. He went missing. Next day we know we get a call because he's chipped, and so animal shelter called and said, "Hey, we got your dog. You have to fine. You got to pay to get him back because you let him out." And we're no different. The only difference is we don't know. We don't understand the program. We have this. This is my take. This is why I love the disclosure. I can't wait till the UFO stuff come out. Because I can't wait till finally people that was in the military, they finally come clean, and everybody in the military know about why we won Greenland. Why the same reason that we won in Iran and Iraq. It had nothing to do with weapons of mass destruction. Gilgamesh and Nimrod. What's his name? Was buried. I got pictures. I got receipts. You can go to type in Smithsonian. You can see the pictures yourself. There's giants. They are reconstituting. That's their term. They're taking DNA just like Jurassic Park. What they do with Jurassic Park? How did they make the dinosaurs? How do you bring the Nephilim back? So they believe, the dominant culture, and all of these homies, they believe that they are descendants of those who from heaven who came down to earth. It's all inside of the Samaritan tablets. But black people don't read that for whatever reasons. I don't know why, but we don't. So we don't know. So we just got, we don't have the truth. We just got what, Constantine, because Constantine wasn't stupid. Like, how do you control? Like, yeah, that is crazy. Like, how do you think, man? How can you stay on top forever? You can go anywhere in the world. Black people are subservient. We used to run the world. So what happened? Well, going back to the movie Free Guy, because remember, this is what's in the Epstein files. The Epstein files is Westworld. In Westworld, the 1%, they do anything they want. Who's going to get prosecuted? Now we got proof, man. We got pictures, we got videos of pretty much everybody. Y'all heard the lady, I forgot her name, who came out, Trump's, she said, if we prosecuted everybody that's inside of the Epstein files, there would be nobody to run the government. So that's she's telling you that everybody that's in the government is pretty much on those files. And then she goes on and she talks about this as well. But going back to the movie Free Guy, the way the Free Guy got out of prison, hell, so to speak, earth, this low vibrational, whatever, whatever word you want to use, and you can use any term and any word that you want to use. And so, and because everybody has a different way of expressing it, so, okay. Of expressing itself. The wife just did her hair and she's showing me how good it looks. Okay, baby, I see you. I ain't mad at you. Brenda, she'll be showing out, Brenda. She'll be showing out. She'll know that. I'm going to tell Brenda to call you. You got to get it in check, Brenda. She got new hair. She'll know that. But in the movie Free Guy, he talks about, he puts on these self-aware glasses. And these special sunglasses allows him to see the game's interface. Those special sunglasses represent the third eye. So they say, whoever they are, I don't know what they are, but the dominant culture believes, that's why, again, when black people transition, our pineal gland is taken out of our brain and shipped to New York. You can go ask anybody who find somebody who works in the funeral home business and ask them, by law, you can't bury a melanated person with a pineal gland. Just ask them. I remember I learned this 30 years ago. It's not something that you want to talk about, but just do your own research. What do they ship it to? Well, and why? What's inside the pineal gland? What is the pineal gland? So the pineal gland is represented in the Vatican by the pine cone. Again, what's in the Epstein files? What is this all about? What's really going on? We got to break all of this down. Because in the movie The Free Guy puts on these glasses. He realized that his world is controlled by players. And these players cause constant chaos. So instead of following his scripted role that he's supposed to follow, DNA, the numbers, Which is what I did. I found my numbers, the script that I have been following. Free Guy chooses to become a hero. He chooses to level up through kindness, creativity, and morality. Same thing I've been doing. So Free Guy got out of the script through what we call love by helping other people. I think I've been doing all my life. So then the free guy, he starts to gain popularity. He starts to notice that the game is run by greedy players. They're trying to erase free city, which is the code inside the game. Ultimately, Free Guy, he's able to basically get out of the simulation through identity, purpose, and consciousness. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. Let me break it down again. How did he get out of the game? How did Free Guy get out? Go back to what I've been saying for 30 years. That's how I got out. All I did was notice how the dominant culture stays dominant. And I noticed how black people, primarily because I'm black, so I talk about black. If I was white, I'd become a white people. And I just noticed how I stayed a prisoner in my own. I was a prisoner of my own creation. And the thing that kept me a prisoner was I did not have a proper ID. Free Guy. The second thing that kept me prisoner, I did not have my God-given purpose. That's not, I love numerology, but that is the devil, for lack of a better term, system. The devil is the author. He's a god. He's an expert in math, music, and language. It's called Gramoria, Grammatus. We call it witchcraft. Now, remember I broke it down yesterday. Witchcraft means witch, W-H-I-C-H. You got an option, witch. And then craft, C-R-A-F-T. That's your skill. That's your purpose. So which purpose? So Jesus came down and Jesus told us. Jesus said, I'm not here to do my craft. I'm here to do the craft of my Father. He put down. So we're supposed to, so to say, what Jesus did, Yahushua did, we're supposed to do. And even greater. That's what it says in the book. But we can read the book, we can quote the book, but we cannot implement the book, which is consciousness. The only way, the whole Epstein files is to make sure that you, number one, never get to where I'm at, where you can see the field. You can see something. Remember those 7 levels of consciousness we talked about yesterday? That's the Epstein files. You cannot identify as an individual expression of God on earth. Number 2, you cannot find your true God-given purpose. You got to do what the dominant culture tells you. You got to get a degree from Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, Sunday Starling, Black College, and you got to do their script. Not number 3. You can't become conscious of God. Not the one in your churches, the one that's inside of your heart. God has not written his laws on tablets of stone any longer. He's written his laws in the hearts and the minds of his people. That's in your Bible too. So while we are looking at tablets, God put something in hearts. I've always been a heart guy. That shit got me in so much trouble. But that's who I am. That's why I got people in my house right now. So I spent all day, driving up, getting ready to go. Hey, I've been at the, like I was telling you guys last night. Just got home today. Because that's my heart. It's just hard for me to turn my back. If I'm in a position to help somebody, I'm going to help them. People say, oh, man, well, no, shoot, dog, blah, blah, blah. They could, then that's true. But Young and I'm old. I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor a seed begging bread. It tells you right in there, brothers, the whole Epstein files, the whole purpose, everything about everything that's going on in this life that you and I are living is to make sure that you do not tap into free consciousness that connects you to the God that's above this God. This is a testing ground. It's like Westworld. Westworld is all about the dudes that was down there because you can get out. But the only way you get out is to you gotta identify. You got to find purpose. You got to establish a connection, a consciousness with God. Because this is a land of unpaid actors. Everybody's an unpaid actors. Look at Barron Trump. We're going to be breaking down the other worlds. We're going to be breaking down, I'm going to get into, how melanin traps what we call light. How carbon, if you put, carbon is a great way to trap light. That's why we got to go back to crystals. That's what the word Christ means. It means crystals. So Jesus Christ represents the crystals because your DNA, your blood, you made up of magnetite and calcite crystals in the body. Just ask anybody who's taken any biology classes. They'll tell you that the body's made up of crystals. So we got to go. So we're going to have a glorified body. So they want to make sure that you don't have a glorified body. Jesus came to make sure that you do have a glorified body. So everything that's in the Bible is true. It's been redeemed. It's been dumbed down so that way you have King James Version and you don't have the original version. You don't have the original, 88 books. You only got 66. And it's not by accident. So everything inside of the Epstein files, don't focus on the events. People are going to focus on this. I remember, I tell you before, it's the same thing in life. I don't do events. What are events? Events are bad things. What are bad things? You label things as bad. They're not bad. They're not good. They're just events. It's a program. How you respond to the program, your emotion. The emotion is where emotions are really demonic. From the perspective of demons live in emotions. That's why I wrote my book, Demonic Soul Ties. Because it was done to me. My soul was tied. And I was empowered to do. And I could do and accomplish great things as long as my soul was tied. So when you understand or you talk to a witch or a wizard, and they'll break down and explain to you. I've done many shows on this already. Again, I just stumbled onto it by accident until I started hanging out with real witches and wizards, and I found out what I was doing when they used to call me Beelzebub. Because I didn't sleep at night. It means Lord, it means restless motion. That's what it really means. But it's a spirit. But what is a spirit? So I couldn't find, today I can't find nobody in the church that can tell me what a spirit is. They can just read what it says. The word spirit in the Bible means breath. Okay, breath is how we live. Breath is the animating principle of the body. So how is the body animated? With inside of the mitochondrial DNA, every cell in your body, you're made up of nothing but a bunch of little batteries. You have sodium and potassium pumps. Your muscles, those are like little batteries. Every organ has its own battery. And the battery, when it's full, is full of ATP. And then it becomes ADP when it's utilized. So if you look at cellular biology, it breaks it down for you. So that's what this is about. This is about controlling cells. Putting you inside of a cell and keeping you in the cell for the purpose, just like in the Matrix when it talks about the body. So at the high level, Epstein and his cronies, the 1%ers, this is the school for training not only non-player characters, but teaching the 1% how to lead, how to control, how to manage, just like in Westworld, non-player characters. The Goyim, that's what they call it, Goyim, which means pigs. So their goal is to, okay, how do we control? How do we manage? And they get into the Helen Belansky stuff. We're going to break that down. Remember her and Jay-Z? Remember I did that series and the whole show way back then when I was breaking down. And it's not really Satanism as far as it is what they call the owl worship of Molech. They're pretty much, to me, they're pretty much the same. But they separate them because Satanists don't like to be called blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's all about what? Promotion of the self. It's all about, if it feels good, do it. It's all about Antoine LaVey, Church of Satanism. The only difference between, a believer and a Satanist is we do what God say do. They do what they want to do. So that's why a lot of people get concerned with a lot of the stuff that I teach, because it sounds exactly like Satanism, or it sounds exactly like, which a lot of people accuse me of being a Mason, because everything they talk about is like the law of attraction, because it's faith in faith. There's no God. You don't need a God. They're their own gods. They don't. But my question goes back to the same thing. It's like in the movie Free Guy. Somebody created and designed you. You didn't create and design yourself. So we can argue and debate over the designer, but boo-boo, you can best believe there is one. So God has a name that no man can pronounce. He has a name written on the sky that no man can pronounce, according to the book of Revelation. So we argue and debate over the name. We argue and debate over stuff that Peter and, Luke and Matthew wrote. I don't argue. I used to, but I don't. That system was created by the 1%ers, because they have to keep you. Because remember, what is the goal? What is the plan? In the movie Free Guy, the whole program was to create a world controlled by a small group of players who cause constant chaos instead of creating a harmonious utopia. That is the whole purpose of Free Guy. That's the Epstein Files. Look at all of the events. Now, people want to talk about, man, did you believe who's in there? It doesn't really matter who's in there. For me, it doesn't matter because everybody's in there. You cannot be on TV. You cannot be in Hollywood. You cannot be in the NFL. Everything that I wanted when I started rising up the ranks and I started noticing the sacrifices that you had to make, I was not interested. I remember when I was taking acting classes, and then we was taking classes, I had to learn how to get in character. And basically, it was a full-blown, seance. We were summoning up the spirit of the character, the dead character. We had to say it by name, we had to visualize it, we had to summon up. And I was like, oh no, I'm not calling up no demon to inhabit my body. And so when you look at everything but what if you don't know? Well, that's what they get you when you what? You young. Because if they would have, I went to college as younger. Older. I was a guy out of the military. What if I went to college right out of high school? Yeah, I'd have been gone. So Epstein is all about Westworld. It's all about, even if you look at the logo from the series Westworld, you look at Dorothy and you look at the guy and again, it's all about how to develop self-awareness. As long as you're not self-aware, you can be predicted, you can be manipulated, you can be controlled, you can get everything that they're doing, and everything that's inside of the Epstein Files is inside of Westworld, the series. Because when you look at what the quote-unquote host, and in physics they call it watchers. So remember they call it the observer. So in physics, nothing happens until something is observed. In the Bible, nothing happens until God put the watchers on earth. But the watchers, they stopped watching and they came down and started to indulge in what they were watching. So physics and the Bible are saying the same thing. The ability for you to be able to control, to predict, to manipulate. So I just teach what goes on behind the scenes of the Bible. And then the people that read the Bible don't understand it because I'm talking about data. I'm talking about algorithms. I'm talking about watching. I'm talking about surveillance. I'm talking about consciousness. I'm talking about how math, music, and language controls and manipulate quarks, quinons, and muons. I'm talking about subatomic particles that are controlled by atomic particles. So just because I go a little bit deeper down the rabbit trail, because that's what they do. They just smarter than you. The West, the dominant culture, they're dominant because they took things out that they know that if you read it, you'd be like, oh snap, I'm not. So that's how you stay broke. So that's how you stay underneath mind control. So the dominant culture is dominant because they got access to information that black folks don't have access to. And then when we do get access to it, we don't believe it because it challenges the nature of our reality. And it's crazy because I talk to people every day. I've just been doing this for 30 plus years. And it never blows my mind, but it doesn't anymore. The amount of information that is available and nobody's interested because everybody's in what the dominant culture has created. That is the first three levels of consciousness that I talked about yesterday. So, brothers and sisters, the most important thing, whether you push the book and take this class in this series, the most important thing is for you to start asking questions. You don't have to talk to somebody like me. You don't have to take classes. You don't have to pay for any knowledge and do all of that stuff. You don't have to do none of that. The stuff that these people do, like I could get into it and it would just gross you out. Like, man, remember, but I taught this long time ago. It helped, especially when I got into all of the Cain. I did all the study on Cain, which is nothing but cannibal. And I shared earlier, cannibalism is legal, which I didn't even know. Every state except Idaho. There's a reason why, quote unquote, certain people do certain things, because the Nephilim did those certain things. The book of Enoch talks about how they used to eat everything. They ate up everything, then they turned on themselves. They started eating themselves. If you watch the movie The Northman, if you watch Game of Thrones, if you watch the Vikings, if you watch any of the European, Anglo-Saxon, ancient, King Arthur, the Legend of the Sword, man, ruthless. I'm talking about what we call, where I'm from, evil. That was normal. But we have not been exposed. Most people haven't been exposed to that level of evil. I just happened to work in a supermax prison that was, again, primarily European. I was in New Mexico, so a lot of Native Americans, a lot of Europeans. And what did I see inside of the supermax prison? Dude chop off another dude's head, he was sitting in his cell using the dude's head as an ashtray. I saw, and I can't even go into all the other stuff that I saw. All I'm saying is that you don't want to go to prison in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I don't recommend it at all. How can a human being think about it? Y'all watch 48 Hours and Dateline? Epstein Files. All of that stuff is in Epstein Files. You can watch Dateline. You can watch 48 Hours. Because that's automatic. That's just a part. Because of what? Certain frequencies, waves, and vibrations don't have souls. I did series, I did shows, I wrote books on OPs. They're called organic portals. They call them NPCs, non-player characters. They got a bunch of different names. You can call them whatever. Ghosts, sprites, genies, mojos, whatever. Yeah, all the same thing, homie. But us colored folks, for whatever reasons, it doesn't register. We can't see evil when it's staring us right in the face. And it is sad now because we cannot, for whatever reason, we can't, it just doesn't register. So what we're going to be talking about is breaking this stuff down so that way it registers. So that you can see that there is, just because you don't believe in that this is a PLAN, this is a plane that was created by ET or extraterrestrials. Just because just because you don't believe it, so we can show it to you. We can go. There's a reason why you can't go to Antarctica. There's a reason, like in the movie, with the Autobots, Transformers, and they fly my boy over there. They drop, even in the one King Kong movie, they take him over there to the North Pole. He goes in the world. He goes in, I forgot which King Kong movie it was. He goes inside of the earth, and there's a whole other sun in there. Remember they came out, they was talking about weather, and people said, oh, well, that's not true, man. That's just make-believe. Okay, well, getting your car involved to Antarctica. How come you can't go over there? No civilian. It's illegal. So there's a reason why, not by accident. The inner earth, all of this stuff, everybody says, oh, man, that's just, make-believe. And that's how they get everybody. Because nobody researches, or very few. So I've been spending the last 30-plus years researching all of this stuff. I got receipts. Just like everybody else who came before, all the Delbert Blairs and Billy Carsons and, everybody that I've learned for, looked up to, and researched, Dr. Miles Monroe. And it's very interesting, And Miles Monroe was the only guy that was able to do the same thing that I'm doing. He was still able to maintain, but he said some crazy stuff that nobody really called him on it. And it's very interesting. I got all the videos and his books. But the church does not accept truth. They just accept words. Whether those words produce fruit or not, even the Bible says you can judge a tree or you can tell a tree by its fruit. But for whatever reasons, we don't do that. A lot of us. Not everybody, just some of us. And it's amazing because it's sad. But it's a program. And the only way to get out of a program, like when you watch a TV program, people are programmed. And there's nothing wrong with it. You get to I like to watch certain programs. So I turn on my TV, television. Tele means to transport. Vision is the mental picture. That's what Epstein was doing. This is all their Westworld. This is their playground. We are just getting exposed to another dimension, another reality. And what's in that reality, we may jump into some of the details, but at the end of the day, the things that are inside of that reality is shocking to most of us because we do not live in that reality. We're not from that world. We don't believe in that narrative. We're not actors in that play, but they are. So it's very important to know because they want to make the whole Western Hemisphere, not the world, the Western Hemisphere. That's why they got to get Greenland and Mexico and Venezuela. Western Hemisphere, Little Baron Trump. You might want to read that one. If you don't read anything else, make sure, especially if you don't take the class, make sure you read Ingersoll Lockwood's book about the Baron Trump novels, written in, I think, the 1700s, way back then, and try to wrap your brain around what's in that books, and what's going on in the real world today. Well, brothers and sisters, that's it. Short and sweet tonight. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll start the series on Monday. We'll see everybody Monday. God bless.